All right. Hey, everybody. This is Tamara Holloway here, Diamond Ambassador. And I have not been this excited about bringing a training call to you guys in a really long time. Look at the faces down here on the bottom row. These are top leaders on my team, and they are beautiful, smart, wise. Those are two different things, and super passionate and committed to this company, to their teams, and they were very committed to this challenge. And so could not be more thrilled to do a Q&A session with these amazing jewels for you to hear their wisdom and knowledge. We have some great questions for you guys. And just a shout out to you all. I'm proud of you for committing to this challenge. It was an intense challenge with a lot of information, a lot of personal development, a lot of activity, and a lot of intentionality. And you completed it every step of the way. I have had multitudes of messages of how this has changed your business, your mindset, and just your excitement and commitment to Plexus. So way to go, truly. So incredible that you guys committed to this and completed it out. So proud. Okay, so let's jump right in. I'm going to pull up my questions here. And we are going to start with Carissa Casey, who is a Diamond Ambassador. She's amazing. You guys got to see some of her great tips in week 2 of our M.A.U.I challenge. And the question I wanted to ask to Carissa was, what is the best book that has helped you along in your Plexus business?
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, perfect. It still looks muted. Okay. I have to say I have 2 answers. And you probably all know my first answer. I hope you do. But I consider this step 0 for about 97% of your team, and probably you as well. Noah St. John was on a call with my team recently, and that quote is from him, that this is step 0. This is before you embark on any how-tos, how to succeed in this business. You have to make sure you are giving yourself permission to succeed, and that you're not subconsciously keeping your foot on the brake, because that's going to make you work a lot harder with a lot less results. So the secret code of success is step 0. This is how you get to the bottom of your why to and why not to issues. And you gotta focus on that before you can tackle the how-to stuff, okay? So secret code of success. And then my personal favorite how-to is Millionaire by Halftime by Presley Swaggerty. There's a lot of really good network marketing books out there, like Eric Worre's got a great one, GoPro, and Sarah Robbins has a great one, Rock Your Network Marketing Business. But truly, this one, I felt like I connected with it the best. I felt like it was the most practical, but the best mixture of helping build my belief in our industry and giving me practical tips for exactly what to do to be a professional in this business. So this is truly, I think, like step 1. Here we have step 0, and here is step 1 for anyone who's joining Plexus.
Awesome. Thank you, Carissa. I wholeheartedly agree. And I love that he mentioned step 0. That's a really good way to think about it. You got to have this foundation, and then here's the how-to of success. Okay, so moving on to the next question. I'm really excited about this one because if a Jewel Ambassador is telling their team something over and over again, that means it's super important. We're going to start with Abby Kappa, Diamond Ambassador, on this one. Abby, what is one thing you find yourself repeating to your team over and over again?
Unmute yourself, Abby. Unmute yourself.
Uh-oh. Oh, we can't hear you. It's like your voice is blocked out.
Oh, now.
There you go. Yeah.
Yay. All right. Sorry, guys. All right. If you have watched any of my videos at all, I say this all the time, but I'm always telling my team to never settle. I think the easiest thing to do in this business, regardless of whether you are just now starting, this is your day 1, you aren't even silver yet, or whether you are a Jewel Ambassador, is to start comparing. And that is a really dangerous place to be. And I don't just mean comparing in like a jealousy way or a, oh, I'll never be as good as them way, but in a way that just starts to settle in and get comfortable. This whole business, the key to success is constantly looking for the next thing that is outside of your comfort zone and making sure you never hit your ceiling. It's really, really easy, especially if you start getting involved in sideline chat threads, to go, oh, you know what? They're just doing this and they're successful, or they don't cold message every day and their team's growing, or they don't do coaching calls with their team and they do fine. And we always look for the easy way out. And so I want to encourage you guys tonight to never do that. You are the leader of your team for a reason. And the worst thing we can possibly do as leaders is to become the lid for our team. And that's something that John Maxwell talks about a lot, is never to become the lid. So in order to do that effectively, we never want to settle. Always be looking for new ways. Do that through personal growth and also always through activity. If you've read a lot of books, then it's time to start implementing what you're reading in those books, doing new things, taking action, and also encouraging your team to make sure they're seeing those actions so that they won't ever settle either.
Love that. Yes. Knowledge is only powerful if you implement. That's key. Okay, next we're going to ask Jessica Heffley, dear friend and Diamond Ambassador, the same question, and then we're going to go to Ryan Evans. Jess, what is one thing you find yourself repeating to your team over and over again?
I was hoping Ryan would go first because I've got like 4 things, but I can't do all 4. So let's start with consistency builds credibility. Too often people they'll do the activity, they'll be on fire for a week, a month even, and then it fizzles. And then so does their credibility. Consistency builds credibility. I repeat that. Consistency builds credibility. That is why we are so adamant about talking about the 90-day rule. Because if you legitimately, today in our Power Hour, if you didn't see that, there's a recording, we covered all of these bases. It's a well-rounded business, very consistently, daily. Leadership is built daily, not in a day. And so the biggest example that your team is going to get by doing this is another one, which is more is caught rather than taught. If your team sees you doing the things, then they will be more inspired to do the things. If you just are always telling them to do the things, then they're going to tune you out. But if they're seeing you lead by example, more is caught rather than taught. An easy way to do that, you can hashtag what I did today and share something with your team that you did that day to work your business. More is caught rather than taught. And consistency builds credibility. Another quick reminder on consistency builds credibility. Way too many people. Tell them the longevity of it. Tell them that so many people did not join you until you were consistent, until you consistently posted for long periods of time, consistently reached out for long periods of time. Let them know that in the beginning, because they post or they may reach out and nobody's joining their team yet. They have to hear that consistency builds credibility, and they have to hear your story of how consistency built credibility.
Love it. Thank you, Jess. Ryan Evans, what about you? What would you say with that question?
Okay, well, my first one, I wrote down several just in case Abby or Jessica happened to say one of mine. My first one was consistency. So I will reiterate that consistency is so important. The other thing I had to put down is the power of 3, because I feel like the power of 3 is powerful. Even the people that we bring on our team that are wholesale ambassadors know 3 people that need these products. So that is one thing that attributed to, I think, every single person's successes. We knew 3 was powerful. So we got 3 and we duplicated. Like every single thing you do should be duplicatable. Of 3 and you duplicate that down, I would say I repeat, duplication. If I do it and it's working for me, you do it. And then you have your team do it. Duplication. That will make your team grow.
Yes, love that. Y'all, I could listen to these ladies all night. Such good stuff. Love it. Okay, So we're going to move quickly on to the next question, and I'm going to start with Sunny Rogers, Sapphire Ambassador. Sunny, what is your greatest strength that you feel has helped equip you in your business?
Okay, well, that's a great question. I have a couple things that I wrote down. Like all of us, it's really hard to narrow this down. But I think my top two is that I'm a learner and I am adaptable. So I'm constantly learning what's working for others. And I am constantly in this adaptability mode because you're going to be riding this roller coaster that is network marketing, and you're going to have to adjust your sales at some point. And if you can be adaptable with the people that you're working with and realize they're going to be different than you, things are going to apply to them differently, you're going to have to learn what makes them tick, not just what worked for you. We have to be adaptable and flexible in our business. And I think that that's worked in my favor because I've learned how to work with my people who are running and gunning, and I've learned how to work with my people who just want to help a few. And I've learned how to support them kind of along the way. So I think that's one of my greatest strengths, is that I'm always trying to be adaptable to when things aren't going well. You know, we have to kind of know when it's okay. You know, this is a part of network marketing. We have our seed planting time, and we have the wait, the long wait. That's where we have to be adaptable and use that time to be learning more, or use that time to be building our belief. Oh my gracious, use the downtime to build your belief, organize yourself, get your business ready and running. So I would say adaptability has been one of the biggest things for me, and then always learning something new every day.
I love that, Sunny. You mentioned on your downtime, building your belief. What will be, real quick, your top tip for building belief?
Find 3 testimonies that make you cry. 3 testimonies that you don't care if Uncle Bob says this is a placebo and it ain't going to work for nobody. Find that testimony where you can say, okay, Uncle Bob, believe what you want to believe, but you can't change Ryan Evans's testimony. Like, you can't change that. You know, like Ryan's one is one that I always go to. That is not placebo. You cannot change that. The numbers don't lie. Ryan's life is completely changed. And whether you believe it or not, it's the truth. So find those 3 testimonies that make you cry.
Yes, love it. Okay, McKenna, what about you, friend? What is your greatest strength that you feel has helped equip you in this business?
I feel like Sunny and I have some similarities, and so I wasn't sure what she was going to put here, but I would definitely echo hers. And I would also add something I know she is also strong in is loving people, being a good listener. I think those are skills that we don't always see as a skill or a strength, but those are super important. No matter what color, no matter, you know, what is driving people, you have to have those in order to get places in your business. Another one, being authentic, being genuine. That is very important. I feel like that's something that I have tried to keep present as I've posted on Facebook and reached out to friends, just tried to be myself and be authentic and stay true to who I am and myself. But some things I wanted to mention too for people on the call who may not really know what their strengths are. The book Strengths Finder 2.0 was a book Jessica did with several of her leaders at a retreat a couple years ago. And that was huge for me to point out that I had some strengths that I could utilize and leverage in my business that I didn't see as a strength, like input, which is basically data collection and compilation. I didn't know that that was a strength, but looking at your life experiences, your resources, the things that are unique to you, you can leverage those and bring those into your business. So for me, having experience as an English teacher, that is something I've leveraged to be able to put into my storytelling and my data collection and things like that. So that was a book that I wanted to recommend also as it applies to the strengths.
Repeat that name of the book, McKenna, and the author for everyone.
I can't remember the author, but it is Strengths Finder 2.0. Yeah.
Okay.
Someone's
There it
putting
is.
up like bottom there, which I don't know if I have it. But down at the bottom, Strengths Finder 2.0, and it comes with a quiz.
Tom Rath.
Yeah, Tom Rath.
So definitely, if you are struggling with finding your niche or what you can run with, I would definitely recommend that you take that quiz and see what it points out to you. It was very eye-opening.
I agree. It's such a powerful book, and it helps you like you said, it helps you recognize gifts that you didn't even realize were necessarily strengths, but then you can take those strengths and utilize them in your personal life and most definitely in your business as well, and capitalize on those strengths. Okay. Somewhat of an opposite question. We're going to start with Megan Garrity, sweet friend and Emerald Ambassador. What is or was your greatest weakness, Megan, in this business, and how have you overcome it and been able to be successful?
Okay, so Anna have multiple strengths. I have multiple weaknesses. So just to share two with you. One was I was always pretty reactive in my emotions. So if I ever felt wronged by someone or something like that, I would be like, well, I don't need you, like, goodbye. And, that's not really ideal in a business where we're constantly dealing with people and offering great customer service. And so I recognized from the beginning, I really had to work on this. And so I have done continuous personal development, professional development since starting Plexus. I'm always trying to read a new book to help me grow. And so I've come so far in this, and I see that maturity in me, in dealing in situations where before I would have been like, goodbye, where now I'm like, okay, how can we fix this? How can we go moving forward? And I think a book that really helped there was John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It was just so eye-opening and really spelled out some things that helped me become a better leader and a better person in this business. So that's one of them. And then the second one, I hope to give hope to many of you out there, but I am a super disorganized person. And when I try to be organized, it stresses me out. Like, it causes me more anxiety to have organization than it does to be disorganized. So, I have tried like putting note cards in a little, I go out and buy these things like in the little like dividers and, the planner and all that stuff. But it just sits there and collects dust, or like it becomes a holder for more important things, because I don't thrive on organization. And so I find what works for me, whatever that may be. I use reminders in my phone because I have a planner and I write stuff down in it, but I never look at it. It's the purpose. So you can be disorganized in your own way to make this business work for you. Don't feel like because someone has note cards with all of their potentials alphabetically or an Excel sheet that you have to be that way, because Excel gives me hives sometimes. And so you just have to find what works for you. I have done that and through trial and error throughout these past 3.5 years. So you can do it too.
Love it, Megan. Thank you. And if y'all noticed, Carissa held up the 21 Laws book a moment ago. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. So I hope you guys are taking note of all these amazing books that have already been mentioned. Okay, Jessica, same question. What is or was your greatest weakness, and how have you overcome it?
Okay, hey. I have lots of weaknesses, but one of my biggest weaknesses was not realizing that people were different than me, or just kind of being one track mind focused. What I did worked, so I was expecting everybody else to work their business the same way that I did, and that did not do well. But we all learn through conflict, and we all learn through pain. And sometimes I had with some family members and some close friends that we were very different. I really had to really, really learn, which has been invaluable. I'm so thankful, in and out. And I'm never going to completely understand everybody else, but self-awareness, basically being self-aware of knowing who I am and how I tick and why I function and why I do the things the way I do, but knowing that more than 75% of the world is totally different. They don't think, they don't do, they don't act the way that I do. And so it was a huge disservice and a big disconnect to not truly try to learn and connect and communicate to people that were different from me in a way, just like speaking their love language or knowing what, so I don't think that I'm a huge fan of personality tests. I think that they're not an end all, but they do give us tools on how to better understand why people operate. But I also don't let personality tests be a crutch. And so if you know me, you know we do something scary every day. If there's ever something scary that comes up, that means you should do it. That shouldn't just say, well, I'm an introvert, so I'm never going to talk to strangers. That doesn't work. I'm an introvert. If it's scary, I've got to do it. But my biggest weakness was not taking the time and investing to really, really understand what motivates, demotivates, inspires, uninspires, overwhelms, challenges other people that are different than me.
And that's so important, because if we want to be great network marketers, if we want to be great leaders, we have to be able to meet people in the way they communicate and meet people where they're at to really connect and grow that relationship and nurture that relationship and earn trust. So super important. Thank you for sharing that. Next, we're going to go to Catherine Jones. Catherine, what is the best piece of advice that someone gave you along the way?
Well, my older brother, he's an attorney and a local politician. And 3 years ago, he launched a business that has since turned into a multi-million-dollar business for him. And I have no doubt that he will sell it one day and be a billionaire. But something he told me, and this was while I was designing, but it applies so beautifully to Plexus. One thing he told me is that regardless of the product or the service, you're seeking to meet a need, period. You're seeking to meet a need. So put yourself in their shoes and think about, what are they looking for that will appeal to them? In their moment of curiosity, what is something you can provide that will appeal to them? In their moment of research, what area can you direct them to help meet that need? Qualify that need and direct them there. So when I was designing, it was presenting space plans and beautiful aesthetics to a group of people or a group of doctors. I knew their need, but I wanted them to love my idea. So I took their interest, what they were looking for, and I directed them to the solution to their issue. How does this apply to business and Plexus? Well, guys, if you're qualifying a need, it switches your mindset. It removes your personal feelings. It makes you realize the outcome really doesn't matter. It removes the pressure of the sale, and your fear goes away, because we have a life-changing product. We have a life-changing business model that are meeting needs in finances and meeting needs in health. You just simply do right by that, which means the conversations you have with people are going to be led by their need. It has nothing to do with selling. It has nothing to do with sharing. It's showing them how Plexus can meet a need in their life. And that was something he shared with me over 5 years ago. I've seen it play out in his own business. And it's something that has been so valuable to me in where I have come with Plexus, that you're just meeting needs of people. That's it.
Oh, I love that, Catherine. It takes the pressure off. It takes the pressure off. Oh, I love that. That's so, so good. Okay, we're going to move on to our next question. We're going to start with Abby Kappa on this one. Abby, what is one thing you do consistently that has been a major contributor to your success?
Is it working this time?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, you guys. So I like to say this a lot. I live my Plexus life by the Nike slogan, just do it. And that is there's a couple reasons for that. One, because my personality, I'm a natural procrastinator. But also because I feel like this is a struggle for many people in this business. This is a very unique business, you guys. We are not the boss. And so it creates a unique dynamic. We can't walk into our teams and say, listen up, guys, do your IPA or you're fired. It doesn't work that way. So somehow we have to find a way to help people realize this is worth it. And they won't see the fruit of their labor. They won't actually see that this business can and will work for them unless they just do it. Because like so many other lovelies on this call have said already, the daily consistency is what pays off. And so we can't just have these weekly check-ins or, oh, I'll post today and then take a couple weeks off. Or I got brave and messaged a couple people last night, but I haven't done that again for a week. We have to just do it every day. I have worked this business during the hardest 3 years of my adult life, so I share that with my team a lot. I know what it's like to work this business as a single parent during life transitions, during moves, during planning weddings, during hard life crisis. And so I think it's really important that we show that vulnerability to our teams. That as leaders, when we are just doing it, we let them know the daily obstacles that we are overcoming as well in order to get things done. Whether that's getting it done during your kids' nap time, or whether you work an 8-hour job and you're squeezing it in on a bathroom break or a lunch break, whatever it is, we need to empower them to be able to just do it too.
Thank you, Abby. Ryan, what would you say to that question? What is one thing you do consistently that's been a major contributor to your success?
Okay, well, I have a couple of things, but one of them is really quick. Before my feet hit the floor every single day, and I can say that there are a lot of things in this business I probably don't do consistently like I need to, but this one I don't falter on because I know it is why I am successful. And that is, before my feet hit the floor, I pray to God and I ask Him to send me the people that need the products for their health and need the business for their finances every day before my feet hit the floor. So that's number one. But, and I'm sure some of you have even talked about this, I tell my story. Now, for a lot of you that are hearing that, you're like, well, Ryan, my story doesn't look anything like yours. But here's the thing. You have one, and you have to tell it. I do my best. Every single level one that I sign, we get on a Zoom, and I make sure they know my story and they know why I'm doing it. And every single level one that my level ones bring on, so my level twos, I try and get on a Zoom and make sure that they know my story, because I want that obviously duplicated down. Every single person has a story. Every single person has a reason why they are doing this business. So because I have done that consistently, that has contributed to my success, because knows my story, because I never shut up about it. And that has contributed to my success. One more thing, breathe life into people. Like anything you do, just breathe life into people. Sometimes, like Catherine said, that is the need that needs to be met in someone's life. It might not even be the products, it might not be the money. They just need somebody to breathe life into them.
Sometimes I love the last one, especially, Ryan, to breathe life into people, because we have to do that for our teams. We have to do that for ourselves. We have to do that for our leaders. Sometimes you breathing life into someone can make all the difference in what they do going forward. You may have more confidence in them than they have in themselves, but you as a leader, and I'm talking to all you silvers and above, right? If you have someone on your team, you are a leader to that person. Breathe life into them. You may be the only person that's telling them, I believe in you. You have this quality and this quality that can help you be successful, and I believe in you. And you never know how that can transform someone's mindset and have them push forward in this business. Thank you, Ryan, for sharing that. Okay, we're going to move on to our next question. I love this one because I know we have a lot of silver ambassadors listening to this training and that did the M.A.U.I challenge. You may or may not be new, but this applies. This advice will apply to you as you're bringing on new ambassadors to your team, or maybe something you need to look back and go, you know what? I skipped that as a newbie. I need to start doing this today. So my question, we're going to start with Carissa Casey. Carissa, what is your best advice for new ambassadors?
Okay. So the thing I see probably the most commonly with new ambassadors is we always train our newest people. Okay, now, first of all, you're going to start posting. It's going to be amazing. And then you're going to make a list of people that need this. People, or you may not know if they need it, but they're just somebody you love and they could be blessed by it, right? either they need it for their health or for their finances or for the community and the connection or any and all of the above. So we train them to do that. And then every single time when I check in and go, okay, how's it going? How's it going with those people you've been reaching out to? And, I train people like when you post and you get support, reach out, thank people for their support, start the conversation. It's like every single time they go, oh, it's not going so well. People aren't signing up. People aren't ordering. I've reached out and I got a bunch of no's. And so my biggest piece of advice is like, if that's happening to you, you're doing it right. And people are not ready the first time they hear about Plexus. All of the strongest leaders on my team took a lot of time to think it over. And I took so much time to think it over. I watched for 8 months before I decided to do this. And we know statistically that it takes like 8 to 12 touch points before somebody is ready to take the plunge and order or join. And so I feel like I'm always giving that advice to new people. If you are reaching out and posting and checking in and following up with the people that respond to your posts and you're getting no's, you're doing a great job. You're doing everything right. Hey, we might need to tweak your wording a little bit. Let's look into that. But don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. You're doing it right. Getting no's is normal. People aren't going to be ready as soon as you talk to them the first time. That's just not how it works. So that's something I feel like I tell new people a lot.
Yes, Krista. And as you were saying that, I was thinking about how long some of the leaders on this call, how long it took them to join me. Catherine Jones, I was a Ruby. I turned senior Ruby right after she joined me. Jessica Heffley, she joined me 2 months after I went Emerald. I was almost Sapphire. And Megan Garrity joined me when I was Emerald. So 3 of the strongest leaders on my team right here, they took months to join me on this journey. So just keep going, stay consistent. That's like the key word here on this training. Stay consistent, because those 3 girls down here, they didn't join me for months and months and months into my journey. So to me, that should build a lot of belief in you that there's still people out there that will join you, that it may be a year from now, but they could be complete rock stars and strong leaders on your team to come. Okay, Megan Garrity, speaking of you, what would you say to that question? What is your best advice for new ambassadors?
My best advice would be to start sharing right away. So many times I do 3-way calls with new ambassadors, and they're like, well, I want to make sure I get a testimony with the products before I start to share. And I always say, no, you don't have to have this amazing testimony where you've lost 30 pounds and you feel so much better, because you need to start putting it out there right away. I started sharing the first day that I got my Slim in. I'm not even sure that I had tasted it yet. I made my husband take a picture of me and put it out there. And, I just put out there that I was starting out on this new journey. And, like Carissa said, like I started to build that interest. It wasn't that I had tons of people join that day or, decide that they wanted to, but I started to plant the seed. So important, because it's going to take multiple contacts and 4 people decide to jump in. So the sooner you start to share, the better. And yes, it's super scary. It's like you have to rip off the Band-Aid and just go for it. Put it out there. And I promise you, it gets so much more comfortable and you start to find your voice once you start sharing, the sooner you do in your journey. And also be coachable. I don't care what your background is. You could have been in another MLM and you could have done super well. You might have a background in sales, but you have to come into this as a sponge, ready to soak up all the resources and knowledge that there is to be shared with you, because you haven't done Plexus before, and Plexus is different. So be coachable. Be receptive to what people have to share with you, because they're sharing because they care, not because they're criticizing you or something like that.
Yes, Megan, thank you. I am going to ask Sunny Rogers this question next. And if any of you, after Sunny, want to pipe in one other thing, we have a little extra time, so I'd love to hear what advice you would give to new ambassadors. But Sunny, we'll go to you real quick. What's your best piece of advice for new ambassadors? I know you got some good stuff.
Okay, so I would say, first things first, take this one single baby step at a time. If you come into this thinking 20 ambassadors, that's never going to happen. I don't even know 3 people. How in the world am I going to get even 3 people to do this with me? Take it one little baby step at a time and do the next thing that you know you need to do. We instinctively know how to love well. We instinctively know how to share. Just do the next thing. Don't get overwhelmed with it. I don't know how to do a live call. I've never done anything like this before. I don't know how I'm going to be a leader to a bunch of, stop it. Just stop. Just start with the one thing and do that. Also, you do not know who your 3 people are going to be. My first 3 people were people I would have never in a million years expected to join me. Like my best friend's husband, my best friend from home's mother, my 2nd grade teacher. Like people I would have never picked them out. And I think sometimes a mistake we make is we think, oh, these must be the top 3 people that they have to do it with me. My mom, my aunt, and my best friend. Well, friends, I'm telling you, my mom didn't want to join me. My aunt didn't for a couple years, and my best friend still hasn't. So if you are waiting for those 3 people you think are supposed to be your first 3, you're probably going to be waiting for a long time. My best advice is reach out. Like they said, post. Be consistent in posting and letting people know this is a part of your life. This is not just a little thing. This is something you're doing. You believe in this. Share that and just do the next thing. Don't get overwhelmed with what you don't know how to do yet. Do what you know how to do instinctively really well, and the rest will come if you challenge yourself to do the scary things and keep moving and growing. That's my advice.
Thank you, Sunny. Does anybody else want to add a piece of advice for newbies? Anyone? Okay. We'll move on to the last question then. I love this one, so I saved it for last. We're going to hear from a couple of our jewels about what they're most excited about in the future of Plexus. McKenna, let's start with you.
Okay, I have a few things. Having seen the heart of corporate, having seen kind of where they've come from and heard up front and personally their dreams for the future, I just can't help but be super excited. Seeing how fast and how majorly it's grown just in the last few years makes me know it's going to be something special. It's going to be, like they say, that legacy company. I just can't wait to see even more testimonies, even more improvements to the products, more improvement to the website. Right now, maybe one of my biggest excitement, seeing our technology at the level of excellence that we know Plexus is with everything else. I'm just really thrilled and excited to see us become that industry leader in so many aspects. More validation. I know we're going to be having more clinical studies, more testimonies coming from our products. So I'm just very excited to see all of that. And as that builds, having more and more people come on board, more belief built, our expansion, like with Canada now, I know that's only the beginning. And there's one thing that I keep coming back to. I can't remember where I saw this, but it was some quote about with what we're doing now when we run into skeptics. It was the idea of, and I repeat this to myself a lot, I am not trying to convince my skeptics. What I am trying to do is to paint this picture and show the world that this is such a beautiful and helpful and normal part of life, that as my skeptics' children are growing up, they can't help but believe what I am saying. I'm painting this as just the truth for them, so that whether or not my skeptic changes their mind, this is the truth, and I'm sharing it so their children will know the truth. So that's something that I'm eager to see too for the future of Plexus, is that we're changing the world and we're raising a generation of kids that are going to know a better way and be healthier. And so I'm excited to see that come about.
Love that, McKenna. Thank you. Catherine, what about you?
Well, early in my journey,
Hey, Catherine.
yeah.
Okay, can y'all hear her? She was muted out for me. Okay. It almost just kind of sounds staticky.
How about now? Good? Okay. at the Dallas convention, Eric Warhay spoke, and he is the author of GoPro, and he built a multi-million-dollar industry in network marketing. So now he's a speaker and an author, and he's considered to be an industry professional and leader. And it was actually during his keynote speaking engagement at convention that he said when a new company comes on the horizon, all of the network marketing industry gurus sit back and look for indicators to see, are they legitimate? Are they going to stick it through? Will they have longevity? Will they be a legacy company? And so I know we hear a lot from corporate that says we're building a legacy company. People say Plexus is going to be a household name. Well, Eric Warhay said there are certain indicators that show that, according to statistics, according to the data, that will happen. And I am so excited that 4 years later, those indicators are happening. Just a few that he mentioned was that it needed to be a consumable product. I love that Plexus has not wavered from that every single one of our products is in a 30-day consumable format, which means we are going to have that recurring customer and that recurring ambassador. So it's consumable. He also said that they will reach $1 billion in sales, which I don't know if you've seen the latest data. We are well on our way to completely blow out that ceiling. It is happening. It is coming. But also he said that it meets a need in the market of the day. Okay, there's a reason that Tupperware came out and hit the market when all these mamas were returning to the workplace. They needed something fast and convenient for their families. Okay, it met a need in the market of the day. Plexus, our corporate team, is positioning us in the market to be the experts in gut health. And that is where our world, where our health market is heading, and they are positioning us there where we are going to be needed and we are going to be known for that. So I am so excited to hear from Eric Warhay over 3 years ago, these indicators that show a company is going to be around for the long haul, to see that it's true, and those indicators are happening now, and our future is so exciting. And I just want to encourage you to hold on to your seat. Hold on to your seat because it is happening.
Yes, I cannot agree more. Another perk to becoming an Emerald Ambassador, everyone knows about the Lexus, right? Everyone knows about the Emerald Pool and about the amazing trip to Maui, all incredible things. But another perk is being able to go to the corporate office and be able to meet Alec and Tarl, to be able to meet the head of, sales and compliance, and just to see how it all runs, and to have a 3-day training with some of the top leaders in the company. And I've been to corporate 3 times now, the new corporate office. And every time I go there, my belief just takes an extra step. I had the privilege to sit down with Sarah B. Orgard and Alec and Tarl, and they just asked us, there was 3 of us in there, and they just asked, tell us what you think will motivate the field. We want our new incentives coming up over the next few months to be motivating for the field. Tell me your ideas. They sat there and took notes. Tarl Robinson, the CEO of our company, took notes on things that I said, and other Jewel trainers there, because they truly do care, you guys. There was another guy that is an interim COO that was there. He's been with Plexus for a couple of months, but he's a contractor. We're looking into hiring him. And he said, I've never seen a culture like this company, and I have been in all kinds, I've had my hands in all kinds of network marketing companies. He mentioned Arbonne, Beauty Counter, Mary Kay, Melaleuca, all these different companies. He said, the culture here, it truly blows my mind. You have leaders that care about the field. They care about the ambassadors. And my heart just swelled with pride. Guys, we are part of a legacy company. You are still on the ground floor of this company, and there is so much more to come. So back to consistency. Stay consistent with the things that we went over in the Maui Challenge. Mindset, activity and duplication, understanding yourself and understanding others, growing in your leadership skills, and then being intentional with your own personal business, intentional with your team. Guys, I want to see you grow. I want to see you in a different place than you are right now in 6 months, a different place than you in 6 months that you are in a year. There is so much opportunity with this company. You're in the right place at the right time with the most amazing compensation plan and products on the horizon. And I just could not be more thrilled to have you guys. And I know all these leaders feel the same way. So like Catherine said, hold on to your seat. Was that it, Catherine? Hold on to your seat. We're in for a wild ride. And I believe it. So much love to you guys. Thank you for being a part of this challenge and being consistent and committed. You guys are rock stars, and we are so incredibly proud of y'all.